I lose contact, and it costs me a lot of money. So I don't know why I'm doing this. And if you see that sort of, you know, the sniper, that red light flickering around the room, duck, because it's after me, okay? It's not after you. For the first time ever, I actually wrote down what I was going to say in a speech. I never really do that, and you can tell I'm not looking at it. I'm starting to freewheel already. And the reason being is because if you write a speech, you end up getting other people to look at it and read it, and you get experts and communications people and PR people who take the meat out of the speech, and the audience know it. The fire's out of the belly, the soul's gone, they become predictable, they take the naming the names bit out. So I was going to start by saying Cyril Ramaphosa is a disgrace. He is a disappointment. He is an absolute embarrassment to this country, and he should immediately resign. But I started with a little bit more. But I absolutely am going to tell you why. That man is a useless, spineless failure. And it's a bit of an embarrassment that Alec opened the introduction of me by saying that, you know, our family gave Cyril Ramaphosa the chance to step up. So if I'm to blame, I apologize to all of South Africa, all of Africa and the world for such a disgrace being the president of our country. And if we also gave Patrice Motsepe his step up by selling Angloval Mining to Patrice Motsepe, which is African Rainbow Minerals, I have to say something good about him first. He is a very good man and a decent man and a charming and generous man, and he was the first person in Africa to sign the Giving Pledge to give away a majority of his money when he dies to charity. First person in Africa. So Patrice, you've got one more thing to do and you haven't done it. You need to stand up and say that you are disgusted with the ANC today, and you will resign your membership and stop giving them money. And the minute you do that, you are the legend you deserve to be. But until you do that, we're holding you to account for not doing it. So I've already gone off piste. Let me see what I can start. These slides were going to be, I don't normally do slides, but these slides, because I created that logo, and the logo's got a black hand and a white hand, but the white hand ended up because I'm making the speech. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm like wandering around. I'm going to go quickly into these slides. Do you know our cabinet has 27 ministers? 27! Every minister has a DG and teams beneath them. What the hell do these people do? Norway has 15. I think I jumped 2 slides there. So let me show you very quickly, why do we need a minister of women? What does a minister of women do? I thought men and women were treated equally. Why do we need a whole ministry there? And look, when I flick down very quickly, the ages of these people. These are corrupt clowns, criminals, our cabinet, of Cyril's clown cabinet. Look at them. Look at the age of these people, okay? Other than 1 or 2, most people are my age. They're Madala. And a lot of them are older. And all of them are incompetent. They've been moved from ministerial post to ministerial post without any skills in any of them, and not a single one of these people has ever been in business. So they don't know how to run organizations. They don't worry about the bottom line. They just worry about what they are getting out of it. This clown cabinet runs the country. It's disgusting. Makes me angry when I look at some of these people. Now, I know Enoch, the finance minister, he's a good guy, okay? Naledi Pandor is a good person. But very, very few others. The lady who's in charge of human settlements reached out to me, said, I'm trying to get what business needs in this country so we can at least find a middle ground. So there is some good there. But there's a lot of bad and a lot of evil. And I've got to say that if you put Bekele at the top of the evil list, he'd be number 1, 2, and 3. What a disaster. What a useless piece of... I'll stop right there. So these useless people are running our country, and these useless people are going to get voted in 2024 unless the coalition gets their act together and unless the 55% of the population who didn't vote get out and vote. 55% of our voting population did not vote. We need them to vote. And we need all of you to get up, donate, and vote for the opposition. I'll talk about that in a second. Look at these joke people. So what I did is I put together my cabinet, hypothetical cabinet of experts. These are expert people who know what they're doing, have the good of the country at heart, and who could run this country so much better than these clowns we've got in the cabinet at the moment. And here they are, some of them in the room. It's hypothetical. There are hundreds of others that could do a superb job. Agriculture, Theo Botha. Education, Rapeleng Rabana. Have a look at her CV. Extraordinary. Siv Ngesi. Warren, I've put you at head of defense, but I'm actually fire you because you got me into trouble last year by winding me up, and I might put Glynis Breitenbach in there instead of you. Mark Barnes, deregulation. Finance, Daniel Minelli. Foreign affairs, Kuseni Dlamini, who's head of Walmart Massmart. Prof. Fikeni, reform. Health, extraordinary woman from the Eastern Cape. Human settlements, the lady who's in the cabinet at the moment. Justice, who's better than Thuli Madonsela? Ian Cameron of police, 20 times better than that idiot Becky Celi. Energy, Kusum Kalium, sitting in the front row here. And I've given Omri Machagole, head of Labour and Social Inclusion. He's an ANC veteran who's been brave enough to stand up and call out the ANC for the corrupt, evil mafia syndicate it is. Lebo Mogotsi, mining. Trade and industry, Khosi Matthews. Here he is in the room. Khosi, who's been ANC all his life, whose sister's Nalodi Pandor. He and I have been friends for 10 years and have disagreed on everything. We've banged heads and stayed respectful and friends. He was appointed head of PRASA, to fix PRASA. Went in there, rolled up his sleeves like a very effective businessman and professional that he is, and then, when he discovered rampant corruption, the board threw him out. He sued them, went to the High Court. They backed Khosi, reinstated him. The board wouldn't let him re-enter PRASA. Here he is, future cabinet minister. And a hero, and a real hero. Vusi Tembakwayo is somewhere in the room. Vusi, if he can turn up on time, he'd be an unbelievable minister. This is a bit unreliable. And Solly Moeng for tourism. But there are hundreds of other people that could fill this gap. Hundreds. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. From an investor standpoint, I said last year that South Africa is not investable from a foreign direct investor standpoint. Why would a foreigner put a cent into this country? You've got BEE, theft. You've got EWC, theft. You've got an incompetent cabinet of clowns. You've got over-regulation. And you've got elites raping and pillaging this country. And a disorganized opposition at the moment, but coming together. Why would anyone invest in this country? My views changed slightly. I think that investing in this country is now, I called it binary, but Vinny in the front didn't understand what binary meant. So I said, investing in this country is a coin toss. You know, it's red or black. It's win or lose. It's leave or stay. That's where we are right now. And if you invest, we boot the ANC out in 2024, and a coalition of the good come in, you will make a fortune. But if these clowns remain in power, you might as well write your investment off, because they've broken every state-owned enterprise. They're stealing rampantly, and there's not going to be much left. So for the young people in this country, and this is advice people ask me, you should leave. You should get matric or university done and leave the country. Now, people get angry at me for saying this, because they go, it's not patriotic, and you should tell people to stay, and you're a patriot, Rob, and you're not leaving. You should tell other people too. But I'd be lying. We've got a huge mess to deal with. We've got to turn around a nose-diving economy and a country bordering on the edge of becoming a mafia state. We are a failed economy already. We're about to become a mafia state. And we've still got 20 months to the next election. And I'm telling you now, you've heard it here first. May the 1st is the election in 2024. It's 20 months. That's a long time for these crooks to keep stealing and breaking things and killing people. And I want to do a quick thank you before I forget. And it's not the obvious thank you. I want to thank Alec and BizNews and all of you for being here, and for the people that have stood by me shoulder to shoulder despite me putting them in the firing line. I want to thank the whistleblowers. I want to thank the people. I want to thank the whistleblowers in this country who put their lives, and many have been killed, careers and families on the line for nothing in return. Nothing in return. I want to thank the people who didn't turn into tenderpreneurs and break our country. You know, there's a podcaster, a friend of mine, called The Black Pen, Mshlotswa Penwell. And he said the other day, he said, you know, I went to visit two people who are tenderpreneurs. I went to their houses, beautiful houses in Hyde Park, cars, kids at all the private schools. And I felt for a second, why didn't I just do that? I mean, life's so easy. And then he said, but I realized I could never live with myself by being one of the people who destroyed this country. So good for you, Penn. You know? I want to thank the whistleblowers. I want to thank the brave journalists. I want to thank the brave professionals. I want to the man and the woman in the street who actually made an effort to do the right thing and not do the wrong thing. And I want to thank them all. And I want to thank the journalists too. I want to thank the Daily Friend, the Institute of Race Relations, BizNews, Sunday Times and the Times. Warren, thank you. I even want to thank Daily Maverick. For the work they do endlessly uncovering the evil that's going on in the government at risk to their lives. And I want to thank people like Peter Bruce who have woken up and turned the 180 degrees to call out the ANC for what they are. Everybody needs to realize you have one chance to be on the right side of history. So, we're a failed state. The criminals have taken over the government. The ANC has become Africa's new mafia, eclipsing Nigeria in structural criminality. How's that for an embarrassment? We have regressed, as Bill Johnson told us very clearly yesterday. And how that spineless Cyril Ramaphosa deals with Pala Pala is the ultimate test of what happens to this country. He is guilty on about 14 charges, if you look at it carefully. He's guilty, but he's not saying a word. His lawyers have said, don't say a thing, because all he's focused on is December the 10th, power, ANC. And the nasty RET leftists, Arthur Fraser and the Zuma gangsters, have thrown the hand grenade at Cyril and shown him for what he is. The emperor has no clothes. And yesterday, the elephant gave birth to a mouse. Cyril is spineless, useless, and has passed his sell-by date. I think if you look at his face, he knows he's lost the plot, and he never had the plot to start with. And the sooner he resigns, the better. And for those of you who say, but what happens when Cyril leaves? He was protecting us. Let's face the evil now. Otherwise, we die a death of 1,000 cuts. Let's face what comes next now. If it's Paul Mashatile, let's face Paul Mashatile. If it's the rotten RET crowd, let's face them now. You know, patience has its limits, but at a certain point, what it really is cowardice. Where's the Harry Oppenheimer of our generation? Harry Oppenheimer stood up and publicly took on the Nats. But he also stood up and publicly supported financially and vocally the opposition. We don't have a Harry Oppenheimer of this generation. We have a number of brave business people who've stood up and said the right thing. Johan Rupert, the Capitec guys, and a number of others. But none of them have really said, and I'm putting my money behind the DA or Action SA, and I'm supporting DA and the Action SA. They pull back from that. Why? What are they scared of? What is everyone scared of? I got a lot of death threats last year after my speech. I got thrown into a maelstrom of hell that I did not realize was going to happen after my speech. Alec, thank you very much. Did I lose friends? I lost a lot of friends who won't speak to me. I lost some great contacts, and I lost millions and millions of dollars. When I was in 2 businesses I was fundraising for, certain institutions pulled out because Rob was too political. His head was too above the parapet. And that's a separate story, and I will tell you that one day soon. But the reason I'm back here today, and the reason I'm speaking and putting my life on the line, my family's life on the line, because I do think I got away with it the first time, and I'll tell you how. But this time people might say, all right, enough is enough. I've had enough of Hersov. Let's fucking knock him out. And the reason I'm not afraid, and you shouldn't be either, is I fucking love this country. I can't think of a better way of saying it. And I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to pull down. I'm not going to hold back until this evil crowd that's running this country is gone and replaced by the good people that this South Africa can produce in spades. I will not give up. And I want all of you to stand up, shoulder to shoulder with me, and call these evil people out for what they're doing to our country. Enough is enough. I've really had it. And the Mandela legacy, in my view, is over. So, how many got? 2 minutes left. I really have gone off piste here. This is probably quite a good thing because I was going to name names and really embarrass some people, but I think I might have done there enough. So that's why I'm up here today. I'm trying to rally people to come together. I do think there are an enormous number of good people in this country, and I think we have a role to play, all of us, who are going to stay. And when I say our young people should go overseas, they should go overseas, get training and study, and come back when the time is right. Because we're going to have a long, long time of fixing this country. We've got a hard road ahead. If you're business people, you'll understand what turnaround is all about. The turnaround financial experts buy businesses that are falling knives, and they move fast. They move fast. They cut the assets that are irrelevant to the growth of the company. They fire the bad people. They replace management. They restructure debt. They have to move incredibly quickly to save these companies and turn them around. And we're in this position in South Africa. We're a failed economy, teetering on the edge of a mafia state. We need urgent action. Unfortunately, we've got to wait 20 more months to let these gangsters keep breaking and stealing. And there's not a hell of a lot left for them to steal because they can't even pay their bills. So, with a minute to go, Kusum Kalyan stood up yesterday and she said, what is the point of this conference? Isn't there something that pulls it all together? And Athol Trollip said, yes, maybe we make a statement. Maybe this conference creates a statement that forces everyone to focus in a certain direction. So I'm going to skip these slides and go right to this. Where am I? Can I find this? Sorry, folks. This was a very interesting... Okay, you have to reload them, but I'm going to read them out. Sorry, Alec, this is falling on my pants here. Can I get my slides up again? Right. So, enough is enough. We've had enough of the endless promises and continual inaction. Cyril, we've had enough of your aging and incompetent cabinet. We've had enough of the crime, corruption, and unemployment that is endemic in South Africa, created by the ANC, and no government policy or capability to fix these ongoing problems. We've had enough of your government and its cadres destroying our state-owned enterprises. We've had enough of ANC cadre deployment, which has decimated our municipalities. We've had enough of criminals being identified in the ANC and in senior positions in your government, and no one being prosecuted or imprisoned. And we know why, because it goes right to the top. And we've had enough of you and your ANC killing the future for our children. We've had enough of the ANC running our beloved country in the ground. We've had enough of you, Cyril. And I'd like to, on my final note, with 0 seconds to go, tell you that it's time. Here is my Kusum Kalyan, here is our manifesto, our call to action. I call on all ANC members who consider themselves South African citizens ahead of ANC loyalists to publicly resign their membership of the ANC. Who's going to be first? One of them will be. Someone senior in the ANC very soon is going to realize that on the wrong side of history, they're with the bad guys. And there's a special place in hell for people like Auntie Pat, who joined the ANC. And you, Auntie Pat, you joined them at the wrong time. You're going down with the evil ship. I call on the DA Action SA, Freedom Front Plus, Nkatha, PA, ACDP, to put aside your differences, to put aside your egos, and let's forge a rainbow coalition so that voters know we can unite against evil in this country. I call on all athletes, celebrities, and stars here and abroad for once to take a stand and demand a vote for change. I call on all business people who consider this country worth saving, for once to stand up and publicly denounce the ANC and support this coalition of the good. I call on all South Africans abroad to dig deep and financially support this coalition. I call on Cyril Ramaphosa to resign, and I call on your cabinet of clowns to resign now. And let's call on all good and decent people in this country to register and vote out the ANC. ANC, voetsek. Thank you.